Well, hello and welcome to today's podcast of Plans to Places with CEI Engineering and Associates. I'm Debbie Jones. I'm your host for today, and where we explore all aspects of design and development. Today, we're focusing on the people behind the designs and how they got their start. I've invited a special co-host, Kristen Swalv, HR manager for CEI, to join us today to help us delve into what it is like to build a career at CEI. So great to have you here, Kristen. Let's get you introduced to the audience.
Thank you, Debbie. I'm glad to be here. Again, my name is Kristen Swalv. I am HR manager with CEI. Been with CEI for about 6 years. Moved up from a HR specialist to HR manager. Excited to watch everyone grow within their learning development. And I'm excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. So tell us, Kristen, who have you brought with you today?
Yes, today I have brought Kevin Hall. He has been with CEI for 21 years, and he is currently our Director of Technical Services. We are excited to learn about his experiences.
Excellent. Well, so let's get to it, Kevin. Well, let's start with some questions.
Perfect. So tell us how you got started with CEI. Tell us your role. Tell us just how you got with CEI.
Sure. So, 21 years. So that was around 2004. So I moved to Arkansas. I was a airplane mechanic. Moved to Arkansas to work at XNA, the Northwest Arkansas Regional Airport. Worked there for about 9 months and got laid off. The company went under, lost a couple contracts. And so I was kind of stuck here. I didn't really want to move. I liked the area, liked Beaver Lake, like the outdoors and things like that. So decided to stay and look for a job. I had 3 options. The first one was Arkansas Western Gas at the time. They told me I'd have to go underneath people's houses and deal with live and dead animals, and so that wasn't an option. The second one was to be an electrician, which I was kind of intrigued about, but just the pay wasn't right, and the length of time to be a journeyman, being out of work and on my own, like I needed a job. So actually the unemployment agency had a lady there that helped me out and got me an interview with CI. I guess she worked there as a receptionist. And so she recommended, if you like to work outdoors. I was like, yes, ma'am. And she said, CI might work out for you. And so got an interview, went through the interview, and, before I got out of the interview, they offered me the job. And so that's kind of why I have a bad habit of doing that HR kind of gets on to me about not doing. After 21 years, I still have that habit,
So that's funny. So seeing that that's how you got started and it was kind of an unconventional start, what kept you there?
So, honestly, the first couple of months was a little rocky, because I didn't know anything about survey or civil engineering or construction. So, all the concepts were new, all the jargon, all the acronyms, I had no idea what they were talking about. So the first couple months was rough, but then I was able to kind of work with some other party chiefs, and kind of they was able to explain a little bit more on my terms, that I could understand. And so I started picking those things up. And then after about a year or so, realized, they had licensed surveyors and, they were kind of the leaders of the team, and they had a career and salaries. And so, at that time I was probably about 23 or so, and I was looking for a new career, coming out of the aviation industry. So that's kind of when I was like, well, I'm here, and I like what I was doing and want to learn more. So I decided to stay, make a career out of it.
So what were some of I love the journey because it really, really starts at the most basic blocks. You came into it, you recognized opportunity, and then you kept growing from there. But what are some of the things or key steps or opportunities that you received along the way that helped you as you developed your career path?
Sure. So one of the major transitions was probably moving from the field to the office. About that time, my firstborn son, Jordan, came into the world. And so I needed to spend more time at home. And probably my wife kind of suggested or demanded that really. And so that gave me opportunity to be a CAD tech. And so that, allowed me to learn more about the office, learn more about what it is to be a licensed surveyor. And so that was probably a major milestone in becoming a licensed surveyor.
It's funny, it's been so many years and there's been so many changes in the workforce. Yeah. But even 20 years ago, we had remote work, work from the field, work from the office, work from home. Yeah.
Original remote worker.
Yeah.
We were. So if you had somebody that was coming, we were talking about some of the development hurdles that you had. It sounds like you've had a lot of training and support along the way through your career. How would you describe the culture to someone that was considering CEI? So
CEI is a corporate structure, but it's more like entrepreneur driven. Like I like the idea where, you have separate departments and different sectors, and those department managers are ultimately responsible for their book of business. And so they are able to have the freedom to, look at their work, project it, hire, fire if needed to. And so I like the entrepreneurship aspect of CEI. We still have a strategic plan to follow, but within that plan, you're able to, make your team your own.
Put your own stamp on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. And, even though I think, hopefully we don't always lean in the direction of firing, but I do think that it is really, really critical that you get the right people and the right mix on each of your teams. Yeah. That is something that I think is really, really interesting and unique about CEI, is the different types of teams that we have and how it accommodates so many different kinds of people, regardless of what their skill set is. So what do you think, generally having worked across all the departments and now supervising and leading all of our technical specialties, what are some of the characteristics, do you think, of a person that could thrive at CEI?
So somebody that is, driven, wants to make, the best out of themselves, and somebody that is willing to learn. I think another good thing about our culture is the resources of people we have. Even though you're in a department or a certain team, you can always reach out to leadership, to a marketing director, to HR. I mean, there's plenty of resources for people to get advice on their career and how to handle certain situations and things like that. So just being able to, to know that even though you don't know that person, you are able to reach out to them and talk to them. Yeah.
Perfect. So diving in on that and just the resources, when you moved from survey department manager to your executive role, talk through how the help, all the stepping stones you got, talk how you were able to make it to that role.
To my current
executive role
now?
Yeah.
So I've been director of technical services for about 8 or 9 months now. So, I guess after moving into the field and moving out of the field into the office and learning those steps and actually becoming a project manager, you learn how to start dealing with people. You learn, how to meet client expectations and things like that. And then from there, I moved into a department manager role. So now you're leading a whole department of people. When I started, I think we had about 7 or 8 people. And then when I became director of technical services, I grew that department to about 30 people. And so just, it was really critical for survey to stand on their own, have their own clients. Of course, we're serving all of our internal clients, but also growing that book of business to have other clients that we could count on, that we could get repeat work from, was critical in that role. And then, I guess now, it's being a surveyor, I always dealt with engineers, but never really did that kind of work. And so, that is a learning curve for me, just learning more about what civil engineers do, what kind of calculations are behind their decisions and things like that. So, but that's how you grow your career, right? You can't always be complacent, and you're going to have to learn new things. And so stepping into that role has really broadened my knowledge and helped me be a leader at CEI.
I think the thing that speaks to me about what you said is continual learning in a leadership role.
Yeah.
I think the most successful leaders of people in general are ones that set out to learn every day.
Right.
Like you approach it with the same curiosity that you hope that your staff do.
Yeah. Because, if you get in the mindset that you know everything, you're probably you're not going to be well respected, and you're going to get bored, honestly. So you're not going to be your best every day. So there's always a new thing to learn.
Well, and we're also work with an awful lot of big brains.
Yeah.
So it's really, really hard to be the smartest person
Right.
in the room.
That's true.
So it's nice that there's room for the other skills to bring in. Like from my perspective, I love the entrepreneurial piece. I think it lets the DMs and project managers also really be part of creating a company that matches what they're trying to accomplish, as long as they're bringing the drive and the willingness to learn.
Yeah. So Kevin, you have moved your way up over the last 21 years. You have supported all the school districts. You've gone and spoken to colleges. You're talking to young professionals, young students that aren't even thinking about their career yet. What would you tell someone that was in your shoes 21 years ago today? What's the biggest advice you'd give them?
Yeah. So I do speak at a few high schools locally around the area, but just don't be afraid or scared of what you don't know. That saying, there's never a dumb question is actually true. Like, ask questions, but also retain the information that you're being taught or the question you asked about, and just keep building on that. You're going to have to start new somewhere at some time, and sometimes you have to do that multiple times over your career. And so, just be ambitious and have that thirst for knowledge and keep learning every day.
I love it.
So kind of thinking back over your career, I'm sure there's a lot of really funny stories. I guess we'll have to get to that in a whole different episode and maybe a different co-host will work on that. But what is one of your accomplishments that when you really look back in your career that you are most proud of? What sticks out for you?
Honestly, it's probably just, kind of what I talked about, just stepping into a new career that I had no idea I would end up in, and just continuing learning and to be a surveyor at the level I am at in an engineering company, I think is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
and it just speaks to the opportunity at CEI. You can make your career what you want it to be, with hard work and dedication. Anything is possible.
So as a wrap up, Kevin, whenever you think about the future of CEI, the future in general, either personally or for the company, what excites you most?
Right now, there's a lot of opportunity at CEI to grow and to be a leader. We have a full book of work. There's not a lack of work. There's only opportunity. And so, training we're in a real growth mode right now. So training new hires, and to instill kind of our culture into them, I think to me is exciting. And then watching, I guess the new crop of people coming in and seeing their success and being part of their success is really enjoyable for me.
Well, I really, really appreciate your time today, and congratulations on being part of a big team, a great team, and also the leadership and the impact that you've made on CEI. I appreciate your time today, and Great job picking your people.
Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie, and thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. Thank you both.